Hey everyone, just wanted to show you a quick way to make yourself a DIY backup sump pump system. Looked around and everything that's out there that you can buy ready to roll, prices range anywhere from $120 to $500, and I found that I could make a system that was as good as the more expensive setups for a lot less money. So basically what I did here is went to Harbor Freight, got myself a 1/4 horse submersible sump pump. Has a float switch built in. Looking for a smaller pump, one that takes less power. This pump is rated at 6.4 amps. Reason being, want to be able to run this off a 12 volt deep cycle battery. In order to do that, this pump costs about $60. You basically just need to convert your amps to watts. Real easy to do, just multiply by the volts. Standard 120 voltage here, so that gets you about 775, if I remember the math right, watts to run this pump. Harbor Freight also had on sale this 1000-watt inverter. I think the inverter was about $70, $80. They always have the coupons that you can do, so all this stuff, 25% off. And then of course, to keep the battery charged, I just use a standard deep cycle battery here. I did get a 1.5 amp, basically an onboard charger. Plug this onto the battery, it'll maintain or keep the battery fully charged all the time, so that when the power does go out, the battery will have a full charge and will run for a while. So I did check, this 1.5 amps is plenty. The inverter went on. The inverter will be powered on all the time. There's a little LED light here that's going to be on. Very minimal current draw, and less current draw than what this onboard charger is going to put on that battery. So this maintainer will be able to keep the battery fully charged. Another reason I went this route, using a 120 pump, in case my main pump does go out and I still have power, it just burns out, let's say, I can actually unplug this pump right from the inverter and into the wall, and I'm still good to go. I'm going to get everything hooked up here. It'll probably take a little while, and then we'll get back and show you the setup. Alright guys, we're back. Here is the setup we got going. It's got a battery box here, $10 from Menards. Mounted the inverter on top of the battery box. Have the onboard charger. You can see that with the light here. But the onboard charger wired in. Little pigtail coming off of the charger. Running up to the sump pump power. Got everything plumbed in. You can see the auxiliary pump plumbed in. The sump pump with a Y. Each pump has a check valve. Water will go up and out. Basically what we have here is the 3 power cords. One's going to go directly to the wall, but my backup pump comes into the inverter, which is going right now. That inverter will always stay on. Again, this little LED doesn't take much power, way less power than what the charger will provide. You can see the battery is charging right now. That will keep my battery fully charged. Plugged in there. The other power cord is this light I have, otherwise I wouldn't be able to see anything. I'm going to test it here in a minute. So I have the main pump unplugged. You can see this right here. This is the power for this pump. That's unplugged. We're going to let her fill up, and we'll get a hose actually and speed this up a little bit. You can see that basically the water from this float is going to come up, and when it reaches its maximum point, if there is no power, the water will continue to rise, and I have this other float set so that there's about an inch difference. So if this pump doesn't work, the water will rise an extra inch, and that will be enough to kick on this little auxiliary pump, the backup, which will pump out most of the pit. So let's go get a hose and try this out. Alright guys, we have a hose going right now. You can see it going in the background there. Simulating a power outage. No power, main pump is unplugged. If we had power, pump would be going on right about pretty quick here, right there. the main pump would be running. But oh, we don't have power. What are we going to do? Well, we have my backup battery pump running right now. You can see the float as the pump continues to fill with water. That float's going to keep going. And eventually, as the water gets a little bit higher, this one's going to take over and start pumping. There we go. And we're good again. Got a pretty good stream going in here. I don't think we'll ever get this much water, but maybe with a spring runoff. And watch it one more time up here so we can see what's going on. Now keep in mind the main pump is lower, so it's going to actually have a longer run time. There is no power. And the pump should be running right now, but it's not because we have no power. Main pump is unplugged. And there we go. So you can see it only takes a few inches out of that main one. So they have to be offset in order to work like this. So now let's just plug the main pump in here. Now we have power again. Any second now. There it goes. Run the water out. And it's off. And you'll see the water go right underneath that float. That float's not even in the water right now. I have these pumps staggered. There's a brick in there holding the other pump up. Alright, now we'll simulate a power outage. Power is unplugged. The main pump is no longer able to work. We are running completely off of battery power. This one cord here, incidentally, is for the float switch. The other one actually runs the pump. Both these cords run together. You can see that. The float switch cord and that one there. Alright, this pump should be on right now. It's not. There it goes. We're going to watch this float come up. That's what we're going to do. And there it goes. Good to go. And just to recap, with the 120 and the power inverter, if this pump just fails, we have power, but this pump takes a crap. All I have to do is unplug my backup pump from the 120 inverter, put it right into the wall there, and now my backup pump is running on 120 until I'm able to install a new primary pump. What this rig cost me: the sump pump 45, the inverter 60, the charger maintainer about $17, and the battery box $8. I had a lot of PVC laying around. I did have to buy a few fittings, so that would raise your cost a little bit. No more than $10, maybe $20. If you buy a setup like this in the store, it's not going to come with a battery. For $130, this setup is far superior to a lot of the 12 volt systems that you're going to buy off the shelf for around that same price range. And if you want to get some kind of a dual setup where you have two decent pumps like what I have now, you're going to pay $300 to $400. Much cheaper to go this route. Thanks for watching.